Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at a game called Horizon, and this was created by Irem in 1985. This was suggested by YouTube user Namcotenterprises, and I don't know how much this was seen in the US. I'd certainly never seen it, but it is the sequel to Moon Patrol. And Moon Patrol was a smash hit in the US, created by Irem and licensed to Williams in 1982. I remember that game. That game was a lot of fun. And this is the sequel. I have not officially heard that it is the sequel, but it pretty obviously is. The gameplay is different this time. You still have a shot that emits from your vehicle from the top, and one that emits from your vehicle in front. And the one that emits from the top is shot far more often. But you can shoot enemies above you and in front of you. Instead of a jump in this game, you have no jump in this game as you did in the first. You can switch lanes. And the game is sort of in a maybe not quite 3D perspective, but you can switch to lanes in the background, and you have 3 lanes to switch from, and you will need to use them because enemies will try to trap you or rain down shots on you from above, and you can switch to another lane to avoid that. Now you have your standard enemies that fly above, and if you destroy all of them, you get a 1,000-point bonus, which is very nice, because you otherwise can't usually score much in this game. There will be enemies that are red that will try to switch to your lane and attack you from behind, and you'll have to switch to a different lane. There will be bonus points that you can pick up, and they are not very much. They're only like 500. But yeah, one of the best sources of getting points is to destroy that whole group of flying enemies. Shoo, that was close. You have a fuel meter. It takes a long time to bring down, so you're not often going to be in danger of running out of fuel unless you're really careless. There will be fuel icons, fuel icons that you can pick up and restore your fuel. Never stop firing in this game. Take out the enemies above or take out their shots. There will sometimes be these blue pill bug type of enemies, and they roll up in a ball and they can try to slam into you. Eventually they will take off after a while. As in Moon Patrol, the first game, well, there will sometimes be rocks in your way that you need to blast, but there will be numerous checkpoints, and once you pass them, if you die, you will pick up right from the beginning of that checkpoint that you last reached. But these checkpoints are numbered and not lettered, and you do not stop after you cross one, or a number of them, like in Moon Patrol. Sometimes there will be a support that you need to shoot enough times, and if you do, it will release a point bonus that is substantially larger than anything else in the game. It'll be 3,000 points, I think it was. So you definitely want to get that. Just shoot the support enough. Walls and posts, like the one that I passed, if you run into them, you will not die automatically, but it will use up a chunk of your life bar. Oops. So try not to bash into those things unless you have a ton of life or a fuel supply. If you run out of fuel, you will shortly die. You will lose control of your vehicle, and after a very short time, it will explode. And again, look for those blue signs that say fuel. Collect them and get your fuel restored. But generally, you've got a lot of fuel. So if you miss one, don't panic. If you miss one chance to refuel, don't panic. There will be other chances. Yeah, you need to shoot those pill bugs multiple times. The first time you shoot them, they'll turn gray. And then the next time you shoot them, they'll explode. Yeah, there are a total of like 6, or maybe it's 7, no, six checkpoints. But yeah, if you run into that wall, you'll just be stunned, but it will take a big chunk of your, fuel supply out. And if you make it through all the checkpoints, then you will get a bonus for all your remaining fuel. There's nothing significantly different from one, once you complete all the checkpoints and go to the next area. There's nothing significantly different with the gameplay. The enemies might shoot more often or be a little bit faster or something, but it'll be basically the same game. Note that once you switch lanes, that the enemy that flies above has to take a second or two to actually hit you with their shots. And it'll be the same with you. It'll take you a couple seconds to be able to hit them with your shots right after you change the lane. Yikes. I had to make my timing really good there. Because if you... oops. Yeah, there I hit a wall and I lost some fuel. But yeah, you can accidentally switch lanes right into an enemy and die. You will die if you run into those boulders. Use the lane switching a lot. And note that those enemies, those rolling enemies, you have to hit them twice. You have to hit them and you have to hit their wheels. If you run into the wheels, you will lose a life. You get an extra life at, I can't remember the point totals, but it's like probably 40,000 and 100,000 or something. Maybe it's every 40,000, I don't know for sure. Oops. Well, I didn't quite get to 80,000. But I made first place, and I'm going to put in my initials. This is okay for a sequel. It takes a while to get used to. You have to keep your eyes moving to all 3 planes, or all 3 lanes, and get ready to switch among them at a moment's notice. Don't think that those flying enemies above can't hit you, because they can. And again, keep your eyes out for the flying enemies and the red enemies that are trying to ram you from behind. It takes a lot of concentration in this game. Yeah, I definitely never saw this, never heard of it, until MAME came along. It's an okay sequel. It needs a little something extra to make the game more interesting. Now we'll look at me actually completing all the checkpoints. What it looks like. You reach this base, the game will automatically take over for you and make you land on this base here. And it says start to next zone, and you go to operations B. And it's basically the same game all the way through the checkpoints again. There's a total of four different type of stages, but they all still play generally the same. And once you beat all 4 stages through, then there's still no difference the next time through. Not that I've noticed. I put on invincibility at this point. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the gameplay and how it really looks pretty much the same the second time through. The game will try to tell you that the gameplay is harder once you beat, like, I think 2 full stages of checkpoints. But really, it doesn't seem that much different. the flying overhead enemies probably do shoot a lot more. That little beam thing that creature released, it'll try to zap you and bring down your fuel supply by a good chunk. So don't let them touch you. And we'll skip forward to me beating the second group of checkpoints. Course B, or whatever it was called. Warp station arrived. Operations A and B finished. And then, yeah, you get a bonus for all your remaining fuel supply. I put on infinite fuel, too, I think. I just wanted to get through these, all the checkpoints as quickly as I could. Now it says warp drive start. I don't know, this just, I guess, warps you to the next operations, which would be C. And it says it's much tougher. May you succeed. Nothing really much changes. I think the overhead enemies shoot more often. And again, remember that you can cancel out their shots with your shots. So don't stop firing. You can shoot a quick burst of 4 overhead shots at once. But remember that running through those posts will take off a big chunk of your... oh no, I got an extra life. Yeah, I got an extra life at 200,000. But running into those posts will take out a big chunk of your fuel supply. And once it's out, you will shortly after die. And now here's me making it all the way through all the operations A, B, C, and D. And it doesn't really change anything. It starts you back at A. Yeah, some weapon power-ups would have made the game a little more interesting. Maybe a bonus stage or something. It's okay. Kind of difficult to get used to at first, but keep your eyes on all the lanes at all times, and be ready to change at a moment's notice. That is Horizon by Irem in 1985, the sequel to Moon Patrol. And I wanted to show you in a little bit what it looks like to run out of fuel. But you really shouldn't worry about that too much. Just get the fuel increase icons when you can. You know, the word that says fuel. Yeah, and when it says caution, you be ready for the guys to approach you from behind. And here's me running out of fuel. Boom. Didn't get to pick up the fuel increase icon. Oh well. Well, that was Horizon by Irem in 1985, the sequel to Moon Patrol from 1983. Or 1982. Well, this is Crazy Clown Racing. Thanks for watching Horizon by Irem and in 1985, the sequel to Moon Patrol. Have a good one, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your weekend, and I will see you later with another video. Bye-bye, folks.